Rachel Dolezal is back in the news. This time she's writing a book. I knew she couldn't stay out of the spotlight too long. Rather than talking about Dolezal's book idea, which you can hear about by visiting the link in the description, I want to explore the ties between transgendered and transracial, how they're similar and different, and how Dolezal's exposure affected the social justice community. Disclaimer, I'm not a part of that community. If you don't remember who Rachel Dolezal is, I'll give you a quick recap. Rachel is the woman who made us all cringe together when it was discovered that she isn't actually black. She was masquerading as a black person and acting as head of the Spokane, Washington NAACP, but both of her parents were completely white. After being exposed as a sham, she came out to say that she identifies as black, though her parents claim she's as white as they are. At first, Dolezal claimed that there was a chance she could actually be black. She stated that there were no medical witnesses to her birth and pointed to a discrepancy between the time of her birth and when her birth certificate was filed, a 7-week gap. She told NBC that without a DNA test, she has no proof that the people claiming to be her parents actually are her parents. What a way to break your parents' hearts, huh? After interviews were done with both her parents and her actually black adopted brother, Dolezal took back some of her outrageous claims. Now she says that she has seen herself as black since she was 5 years old. And when I say seen herself as black, I mean when she looks into the metaphorical mirror, she sees a black woman. Because of this, she says she's really being true to what's inside of her and not trying to pretend to be something she's not.
I've heard a lot of people ask you the question, are you African American or Caucasian? I am not going to ask it that way.
Right.
Are you black?
Yes.
There are a lot of other facts about Dolezal that I'm leaving out here for the sake of time, but you can read the very lengthy CNN article about her by clicking the link in the description. There are some strange parallels here between what transgendered people claim and what Dolezal is claiming, hence the new term, or at least new to me, transracial. For the sake of clarity, let's quickly dip our toes into the ocean of information regarding the claims of those who are transgendered. The Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of transgender is as follows. Of, relating to, or being a person who identifies with or expresses a gender identity that differs from the one which corresponds to the person's sex at birth. As with most dictionary definitions, that one leaves a lot to be desired. Let's try a different one. I'll cite GLAAD here since they're an organization that represents LGBT people and should therefore be experts in the subject. They say that transgender is a term used to describe people whose gender identity differs from the sex the doctors marked on their birth certificate. They clarify that gender identity is a person's internal, personal sense of being a man or a woman or something outside of that. So that's a pretty clear definition of transgender, and I think we can all agree on it. So if you take Rachel Dolezal's claims and GLAAD's definition of transgender, you can see how she might be able to fit in there. Rather than gender, in her case, it's racial identity. She doesn't identify as the race the doctors gave her at birth. Simple enough, right? But it isn't that simple. When Dolezal came out as transracial, the social justice community, who's comprised of many members of the transgender community, among others, exploded. Some in support of her, and many against her claims that you can be one race but feel as though you are another. Even Huffington Post, a longtime supporter of social justice, including transgender rights and gay rights, among others, came out to say that comparing Rachel Dolezal to Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, is actually harmful to transgendered people and sets back the movement towards transgender rights. They called what she did culturally appropriative and disrupting to real discussions about transgender issues. Here is where my question lies. If you can believe that you're one gender when you were born another, why can't you feel the same about your race? If we go down the rabbit hole, it could apply to a lot of things. I'm not the only one who has wondered this. And while I don't necessarily agree with him, Dr. Keith Abloh, Fox News' resident psychiatrist, asserted that this is just the ever-dreaded slippery slope. If we accept transgender and transracial, then why not accept transspecies or transage? Are we not already doing that as we accept people like Stephanie, the 52-year-old man who believes he is a 6-year-old girl, and those in the otherkin community like Nano, who believes she is a cat trapped in a human body, as not, in fact, mentally ill? I'm not stating that I believe that what Rachel Dolezal claims is true. In fact, I'm sure she's just trying to capitalize on it. Did she want to be black? Possibly, but wanting something and actually being something are two completely different things. She took it too far. All I'm trying to do is ask a question. I believe that transgendered people actually feel that they are the wrong gender, but does that mean that we should believe that otherkin are the wrong species, or that Stephanie is the wrong age? Where are we going to draw the line? Answers? Suggestions? Leave me a comment below. I'll never delete comments and I will reply to as many as I can. As usual, please like and subscribe, but only do it if you enjoy my videos. If you hate them, just leave an angry comment and a thumbs down or click that little red X in the corner. My last video got a lot of hate, and I wanted to clarify something. Sometimes I do videos about news stories and I don't delve very deep into the issues at hand. This was the case with my previous video regarding Democracy Spring. As I said in the video, I didn't want it to be 2 hours long about socialism and capitalism, so I didn't go too deep into that. As a result, a lot of people got angry, claiming that I didn't understand the complaints that the movement has. The purpose of that video was not to debunk their claims. It was to simply identify the movement and give my brief thoughts on it. As a strong supporter of the First Amendment, though, I appreciate all of the comments that I received. You are free to say what you will, just as I am free to make these videos. I hope you'll come back for future videos and continue to give me constructive criticism. Maybe less death threats, though. Thanks for watching.